All right, we're rolling.
Good to go, guys.
Good. Bird thinks so. I'm Pat Shanley. Today we're at Barefoot Coffee Roasters in Solana Beach, and I'm having a beer, maybe a few beers, with Greg Koch. Cheers. You don't have anything, but you know.
Ceremonial.
Yeah, that's good. That works.
I've been thinking about the things that are stuck inside my head and I can't get them out.
Greg, you just got back from Japan. What were you doing there? How was your trip?
Trip was fantastic. I really enjoyed Japan. I was there primarily, the driver was to see an old buddy and for us to go on a trip together.
Oh, it was a personal trip.
It was, it was personal, and then I wove in the business.
Okay, that's the best type of trip.
Which is my common methodology. So we kind of went a trip around to some onsens, which is the Japanese hot springs.
Okay, I was nodding like I knew what that was.
Yeah,
to look smart.
onsen. So now you know. And staying at the ryokans, which is the traditional Japanese style hotel, tatami mats and sleeping on the floor.
Sliding doors and everything.
Sliding doors, exactly. And so we went into some mountainous area and visited a few different ones. He's kind of an enthusiast of that, and I really wanted to check it out. So it was a good trip. And then spent a few days in Tokyo, did a Metal Warrior event. Saw my partner in Metal Warrior, Kelley, play with his band Night Ranger at the famed Budokan.
You saw Night Ranger at the Budokan? That's awesome.
It was great. It was great. That was last Thursday.
Were you out like in the pit with the fans, or were you backstage hobnobbing?
So we have two things that do not result in a pit.
Okay.
One is Japan and Japanese.
Makes sense.
And two is Night Ranger. Night Ranger isn't really
I'm not saying like pit, but I mean like, with the fans.
Well, when I'm a metal guy, so when I hear pit, the word mosh naturally fills in my brain.
We were talking metal terms right before we came on. Now I look like a poser. I was in a hardcore band, I'll have you know, way back in high school.
Okay.
Some bows, some of these guys going.
Tell me more.
I never did the Cookie Monster scream, which is what I learned it's called, the technical term. I was the singer, and then we had the screamer, and he would come on. And he would do it so intensely that like he threw up one time, because you have to do like, if you don't do it correctly, it really is in your diaphragm.
There's a technique to that style of singing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know the technique? Because you were telling me you do the guttural.
Yes, but I don't use the technique because that's not the direction. Because I'm trying to remember, there's a term for that technique or for that style of singing.
There needs to be a metal dictionary,
I'm sure there is.
There probably is.
Maybe called, ChatGPT now.
Everything is.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. If people don't know you by name, you are the founder of Stone Brewing. Co-founder, sorry, I didn't want to sell you short there.
Yeah.
Or sell your partner short there.
I get the lion's share of the credit often and have never deserved it.
Really? Okay. What was the relationship like? Can you kind of like talk to me about the early foundation of how it came together?
Yeah, well, so I homebrewed with my partner, Steve Wagner, and he was always the brewing side.
Was this a hobby, just for fun?
Well, yeah, actually, so I'm going to be straight honest here. Brewing isn't fun.
Okay.
Brewing's enjoyable. It's satisfying. It's fulfilling. But fun, for me, now a lot of brewers out there may, object to my terminology.
Yeah.
I'm only talking about myself. No.
Sorry. Those were my words.
Hold on. I wouldn't say, but it is, it's a studied, slow, when done right, it's a methodical process. And, methodical processes aren't always fun, but they are, again, quite rewarding, and it uses a part of your brain and it uses that part of that very steady, process-driven, process-oriented part of your brain, which is why I'm not a brewer.
I was going to ask you.
Because I'm that guy. I would often describe Steve and I. He's this guy, and I'm that guy.
That's the hand motions really sell it.
Yeah.
So what were you coming up with the ideas of like, what about the branding? Because the branding in Stone is so iconic. And in lots of ways, I mean, it really, I'm sure you've heard this lots of times, but it is true. So much of what San Diego has become is like this brew pub capital, brewery capital, craft beer capital, whatever you want to call it, is driven in large part by Stone. Well, and I think the branding is a huge part of that as well.
Yeah, so that was primarily my area.
Okay.
branding and the marketing. I was the lead singer, if you will, of the company, right? Because I was the guy out there in front, standing and proselytizing. I did quite a bit of proselytizing.
Do you have a soapbox?
Oh yeah, you haven't. If you haven't seen the videos, don't go look.
Oh, I have. There's video evidence of.
I've spent a lot
preaching.
of time on tops of bars
That is amazing.
and stage dived off to them, and
Were
yeah.
you invited to these bars, or would you just kind of come in?
No, I would randomly go
That's
into
the
a
greatest
bar,
thing I've ever heard.
especially if it was a generic sports bar during an important game when everybody's sitting around drinking, Bud Lights or
Yeah.
Mick Ultras, whatever the heck that is they drink in those environments. I don't know, but one can imagine. And I would just get up on the bar and I would start screaming.
Did you have like a 6-pack in your hand, like Paul Revere, but like?
Yeah, I would do it like this, but I would flex,
yeah, you
I
still
would
got
flex
it. You have
everything
guns.
I could. I would just I'd do a few push-ups out in the parking lot on the
I'd
sidewalk.
drink a beer if a guy
before.
like that was selling it to me.
Or that is a creative retelling of the story, and I kind of like that. But unfortunately, I've never been such a bold person as to
Okay.
do something.
So you just
like that.
lied to everybody, is what you
I did. No, I was lying to you, but everybody was witnessing.
by proxy, you've lied to.
No, I'm not lying to you. I'm
Untold
gonna tell you
millions
the
of our
truth.
audience out
I made bullshit with this guy.
You lied to at least Rich. He looks very upset about this. How do you make the leap from that? To,
Well, so I would do bar top stuff, but I would do it, during events.
Yeah. Instead, it just slowly built up over time. Was there like, I'm trying to relate it to music, maybe like, is there a beer that is like the hit song that like takes it from this level up to that level? Like, how does it go from home brewing to an institution?
Yeah. So when we started in 1996, halfway through the year, our first beer released was Stone Pale Ale.
Okay.
And
Great beer, by the way, still available.
thank you. It doesn't exist. I mean, it hasn't existed for 15 years.
Oh, so it's a different one now, the Stone IPA, like the one I think of as the
Stone Pale
classics.
Ale.
Oh, Stone. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking IPA.
Yeah. Fair enough. So Stone Pale Ale, coppery colored, 5.4%. Really a wonderful beer. And then Stone IPA came out on our first anniversary, and then Arrogant Bastard Ale came out shortly after that.
Did you come up with that name?
I would say it. The beer came up with the name. I was just the first person that heard, that it told it to.
What does that mean? So you drank it and like whispers in your ear?
It's so called. Yeah, call me a beer whisperer. Or call me just being able to pay attention to what is being spoken to me.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
That's amazing. Because the first time I ever heard of Stone was the Arrogant Bastard
Yeah.
Ale. And it just, because of that name, I think it stuck with me. I must have been 17, 18 years old. Growing up, not here in this area either. I was over in Nevada and I saw it.
It was. You see, you asked, sort of what was maybe our hit song or something. That was certainly something that helped put us on the map because it got recognition, and both because of the name and because of the beer itself. There were at that time many beers that had maybe a clever name, but frankly didn't have much of beer to back it up with.
Yeah. Because that's the huge thing. Same with like a band, right? The gimmick will only take you so far. Like Guar is a fun band, but they also have cool songs. Like
Exactly, and that's why they're still around playing today, is
Totally.
because they can also bring it on stage. They have their shtick, which is definitely deep into the shtick, but
Yeah.
they also, bring it musically, and it's a great band and fun to see, which I admit I've never seen and would like to. And in my Hollywood days, I actually was guilty of dismissing them and like, no, why would I want to see Guar?
Blasphemy.
Now I kind of wish that I could go back and go, dude, fine, they're cool, just go enjoy.
You told me that, so you were in LA during the times of Guns N' Roses coming up, and I'm not trying to say like Guns N' Roses is the greatest band of all time. It's just funny to me that you never saw them being like a hard rock guy, and that was like really the scene. Were you in that scene at all during that time? Like
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Playing music or just like as a enjoyer?
So I was in the music industry. I was doing management, I was doing production, I was doing songwriting.
Wow.
And then I eventually opened music rehearsal studio facilities. And that was
still there? Which
my
one
first
was it?
business. Yeah, it's still there. It's called Downtown Rehearsal.
Is it the one that's like by Silver Lake, like Eagle Rock, the big complex?
It's the big complex, but downtown LA next to the
I'm
river.
sure I've been there. Sorry, this is not interesting to anyone. I just find it
Yeah,
interesting because I've been to that building before.
No, you likely have.
Okay.
I mean, just about every musician you can imagine has been through the studios. I mean, Blind Melon wrote their first album there.
Really?
And yeah, Fishbone has been there. over the decades, probably for at least
Fishbone reference was the last thing I was expecting.
12 years at least over the years.
Yeah.
Not always in, sometimes in 3, 4, 5 year blocks. Tons of stuff. And so I was deep into the music industry, and it was during that time that I discovered there was such a thing as real beer.
I like that term a lot more than craft beer. Though, I mean, like, obviously there's a craft, and it saddens me that when you go to other areas that people don't have, like, the types of beer scenes. Because there's a lot of beer drinkers everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then you get these imports, and it's just like, it's driven by creativity the same way everything else is. And it's so cool when it becomes a scene like it did in San Diego. So I guess to loop it back to, like, the early days of Stone, when did you start seeing a scene start to, like, emerge here in San Diego? Like, you're not the only kid on the block. I don't know if it was like that in the early days, but, like, when does it really explode and becomes like, this is the capital of craft beer, at least in America in lots of ways?
Yeah. That's interesting because when you're inside,
Yeah.
you have a different perspective. So, we were growing very quickly year over year over year, but still quite struggling, right? Because when you're growing a lot year over year, but it's on a very, very small base, it's still a difficult business to be in and to maintain because you need some level of scale and volume. So it was, from my perspective, it was really around 2000, 2001, 2002 that it felt like we were starting to really catch some wind in the sales. I think popular outsider view would be late 2000s, early 2010s.
Okay.
But it's always based upon, because of this thing called confirmation bias, right? These, logical fallacies that we, are wired, sort of in a way, hardwired into our brains to make these fallacies.
Yeah.
And to view things from that lens. So it's really when somebody had their first beer or real beer, they had that experience where they're like, okay, I was drinking, whatever generic light beer.
Yep.
And then I had an X, Y, or Z fill in the blank that was significantly different, significantly better. And now that was
My eyes have been opened.
the eyes have been opened. And so I find that when I'm talking to people and they tell about, I remember, I started getting into you guys right in the beginning, right?
Awesome.
when everybody was starting to get into you,
God, it is like a band.
And when was that? And they're like, 2008. And I'm like, well, we've been in business for 12 years by that time.
But thanks, bud.
But but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm still glad that they had that discovery moment, wherever it is. But again, it's from that perspective. So they're looking at that 2008 moment, and now they're looking back and they're like, I don't really remember much about craft beer before that. Maybe I'd heard about it, but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a thing. And now it's a thing. So that's how their frame of reference is.
We were talking about ubiquity earlier with, like, I don't remember exactly what the specific example was, but I think craft beer has become almost ubiquitous here, down in this area, and then you go other places and you forget that it's not. It's still dominated by, and I like Coors banquet beer like a lot. It's like a beer that I drink often, but sorry to offend you. I feel like that's sacrilege saying this to you.
Read the room. Read the room, Pat.
I take it back. God. Let's say somebody
And what's your favorite
hypothetically
flavor of
did.
Doritos?
I like Doritos.
And
You got badmouth Doritos now?
How about the value menu at, Taco Bell?
You were just saying you didn't put your nose up, and now look at you on your high horse.
Oh yeah, you know what? Here's my take on snobbery. If you want to call basic fundamental standards snobbery, I'll take
That's
it.
what that's the snobbiest
Basic-
thing anyone's ever said.
Lay it on me. Call me a snob.
When you go for a light beer, what do you drink? Do you drink light beer like at all, or is it all just?
No.
Because you're thin. How are you staying so thin?
Oh, that is the biggest lie that has
Is
ever
it?
been-
Okay, oh my gosh. This is good. No, tell me this. I need to tell my wife this. Look in the camera and tell my wife that I should.
There is no such thing as a beer belly.
What would you
That
call it?
imagines a complete reformulation of our physiology.
Good. I'm glad we got into biology because that was my number one thing.
Yeah. Well, just look at it. We know that calories are an important function of that overall, the intake and the expenditure of calories, okay? So then also nutrition on that as well. So if a beer is, X number of calories, so a good IPA is, for instance, is maybe say 120 to 160 calories, and some crappy light beer, because there is no
Not
other,
Coors Light.
There is no other kind. So that would mean also that brand because it's in the category.
Got it.
Okay, so it is around 100. Now they're getting it down to 96 and 93, as if that's fucking 6 calories or 9 calories are gonna make any goddamn difference. I can curse on this fucking podcast, can I not?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we just reimagine that it's that 30 to 90 calorie difference that is making all the difference between a beer belly and not. No, it's the crappy food decisions that you're making.
So you're saying it's marketing, just like all the way down, basically?
Yes. So the greatest lie the devil ever told, or the greatest trick the devil ever told. Going to start over. The greatest trick the devil ever played was to convince the world that he doesn't exist.
Yeah,
is a quote. I don't believe in the devil. I am convinced that he does not exist. I am absolutely convinced. But
you and Rich.
The greatest trick that the big brewers ever pulled is convincing you that they should put fewer ingredients, more water into the beer, charge you the same price, and you should thank them for it.
Now I feel like an idiot because that must be the case, right? So it's just the water is what is replacing.
Well, yeah,
of course, that
you're
makes
not putting. So in bottom fundamental in beer, you have 2 main ingredients. The biggest bulk by far is malt. I mean, obviously, then the water. Water is still going to be the number one ingredient. Yeah. So the bulkiest ingredient is malt. You put more malt in, you get more alcohol out.
Okay.
You get a bigger body, bigger flavor, bigger character, more calories, all this, because it's small. And then the other smaller ingredient is hops. Hops are quite expensive, and that's where you get a lot of the aromatics and the bitterness. So you put in a lot of hops, even though it's, the difference is rather small, but it's still a lot of hops, and you're getting a lot of flavor and aroma back out of it. What light beers don't want is flavor. They don't want aroma. They don't want character. They don't want body. They don't want anything other than low calories, easy to go down without thinking.
14 of them.
14 of them. And I can tell you, if you're drinking 14 beers in a setting, your problem is not, I'm not done with my rant. I can sense, I can feel my internal flywheel going now.
No, I love it. I want to hear
I'm going back into old patterns, admittedly. But your biggest problem, you're drinking 14 beer, biggest problem is not calories. Sorry, friend, it's alcoholism. It's alcohol abuse. 14 fucking beers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Let's get real. Rich. So I've always been on the 1 to 2, 3, good IPAs.
Okay.
And if you
That's the sweet spot for you, 3.
Well, what is it? 14, let's say 100 calories for a light beer. Mm-hmm. That's 1,400 calories. Let's say it's, for easy math, 200 calories for an IPA. I have 3, that's 600 calories.
Good point.
Guess what? There is no such thing as a beer belly because it is not beer that is making you, somebody fat.
Yeah, it's just the consumption.
It's the lifestyle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's that lifestyle. And you're sitting around with your friends, drinking a lot of crappy, or eating a lot of crappy food, drinking a shit ton of beers. Go for it. Hey, just realize that what the real equation in here, because we're talking math, and you can be upset with everything I'm saying if you know as much as you want, but it's math, guys.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. You've just completely changed my brain chemistry through that entire conversation right there. I'm drinking a Harlan. Sorry, this is a great advertisement for Harlan Japanese lager. I'm drinking the Japanese lager from Harlan, and I picked it because it's a lighter beer, but it's still like a beer. Have you had this beer?
I have.
Do you drink lagers?
Yeah, I absolutely drink lagers.
Yeah, I love lagers. I like pilsners. I like lighter beers, but because of the taste of them, I like more. But I also love pale ales. So it's interesting to me that you started off with the Stone Pale Ale. That you mentioned that one because you don't see pale ales that often.
It's not a popular category.
Why? I don't understand. They're so good.
Well, if I ever read an article about beer, and then I go into the comments section, which I don't recommend anytime on any subject, no matter what, you will see people saying, "Oh, XYZ brewery doesn't make this anymore. That's why they're not doing well," especially if it's about a brewery, the brewing industry struggling right now as it is, lower consumption of alcohol, et cetera. It's all because of this one beer that they used to make that I can't find anymore. And that's why they should correct their business model, make more of that beer, and then they would be fine. You really do not understand that breweries like to sell beer, and if people were buying that beer on a consistent basis, you would have it available.
Yeah.
So the problem is you, my friend.
Why do
you want that beer that you want?
Yeah, go buy it.
Go buy that beer. Go find out where to buy that beer, because if more people are buying that beer and spread the word about that beer, then they will make more of that beer, and the beer will be more available to you. You don't have to go onto a comment section randomly and complain.
Write that down. Very easy to remember. Why do you think alcohol consumption is down across the board? Do you think? Do you have a theory on that?
Well, it's widely accepted.
Okay.
Set of circumstances. In no particular order.
Mm-hmm.
Our economy is challenged right now, and we have a system in our country where it's the K-shaped economy. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and we're having more of a wage divide. That's negative for society, I think, and I would support policies that would go against that, but I don't want to make this political. But just let's look at it. A healthy middle class is the healthiest society that you can have. Driving people away from the middle class and having, 10% of the wealthiest are spending 50%, injecting 50% of the money into the economy today. Okay, I'm starting to go down a little, and I'm going to back off of that and go back to the fundamentals of your question, which is why. So when you have 90% of the population having less and less money to spend, therefore 90% of the population of anything, you're going to have less consumption.
Right.
Less consumption, and alcohol is going to be part of that. You have a whole societal issue here again with the youth today. It's not their fault, it's the societal pressures and whatnot, but something like I've heard 2/3 of young men between 18 and 32 have not had sex in the last year.
I heard that too, which is shocking.
Right. That's not healthy society.
Right.
Where young men and young women are not finding ways to communicate. Sex is a byproduct of healthy communication and healthy relationships and healthy
It's a
interactions.
manifestation of the, not the end point, but the ultimate level of a relationship, basically, other than having a child.
Right. If you look at it as an endpoint, that's a different kind of category, and so as a result, because we know that youth today. Now, I always sound like an old guy when I say the word youth, but the fact of the matter is, when you say you're looking at your 20s and early 30s, and they are commingling less, as statistically they are, and more time in the basement, video games, online outrage, all this kind of stuff. Comment sections is not healthy for them, not healthy for society, and not healthy for the alcohol industry.
Yeah, but to reverse engineer that, it seems like one of the marks of a healthy society is alcohol consumption to a healthy degree. It shows, because it's a manifestation of a healthy economy, because people have extra money in their pocket to spend on what I guess you would call a frivolity to a certain degree. Yeah. But also that they're going out and commingling with each other. So it's like building the societal base that people have.
That's important. And so when we use the word healthy, then that lends to the next item is the Andrew Hubermans of the world. And others who have decided that they need to come out with this concept that a drop of alcohol is nothing less than the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I've never understood that.
When all the research shows that, yes, you may live a shorter life if you drink alcohol, but if you are a responsible drinker, you don't overconsume, that life is shortened it's measured in weeks.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks. It's incremental over healthy. I can tell you will live, this is my personal opinion, I am not a doctor.
I got a soapbox.
You're gonna live a lot. I'm already on it, thank you very much. I brought my own.
Preach, Greg.
I don't need your soapbox. But you're gonna live a healthier life if you are a moderate drinker, plus not eating fast food, processed foods. That's the no-brainer.
Cheers to that.
That's the low-hanging fruit.
Well, the quality of life that you have, which I think then extends, because it improves your mental health in lots of degrees. Having conversations, going out with people, like commingling, and alcohol 100%. Fuels that in lots of ways until it gets to an unhealthy degree. But like you said, responsible.
We're getting closer and closer to dystopian society, and it ain't because people are hanging out together.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Okay, so that's 3, and I'm not done.
Oh, hit me.
So we have economic forces. We have social forces not getting together. We have the influencers saying alcohol is bad. Okay, so then we have the GLP-1s, the Ozempics. And,
does that affect it?
Oh, absolutely. Because one, the number of people is skyrocketing that are on those. I am not against those. I think that if you have been struggling with weight, and that those things can be enormously positive for a swath of people. But the result is they are not only consuming less, they are wanting to consume less. It's been shown that GLP-1s have positive indications for helping people with any addictive behavior, including gambling.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes.
So whatever that part of the brain is.
It reduces cravings.
Huh.
So, and part of that, now look, I would always advocate that if somebody is drinking too much, that for however they can manage to drink less, either stop, fine, or find a way to drink more moderately, then I would support that, right? And then there's a whole swath of people, likely the two of us, who, you know, are able to, you know, keep our moderate drinking, you know, where we want it to be.
Yeah. And it helps. Look, obviously, I didn't found Stone Brewing, but you know, I work and it helps my job in lots of ways. You know, I take meetings all the time over beer, and it's great. It's a great way to talk business, I think. So this notion that it precludes you from being a successful person is crazy to me. In any aspect, in your social aspect, in your professional aspect, is untrue.
So that was 4.
Do you have another one? Oh my goodness.
There is. You know, I may have to pull it out later because there were 5 last time I was
feel like
kind of
you
doing
have a
the mental checklist. Yeah, you had some charts and graphs in which, but you know, hey, these are real forces, and I suppose a 4.5 or a 5, you know, 5 would be. Craft beer has been around for long enough now that it's becoming your dad's, you know, or has become your dad's, and
That's
you
funny.
know, kids. But it's really the whole alcohol industry that is generally suffering. Alcohol is down as a overall category, craft beer as part of that. And so these are real forces. I don't blame, I mean, blaming craft beer. I read an article in the New York Times just a few days ago where it blamed, you know, all the colorful, weird labels and some silly names. I mean, there are silly names out in the craft brewing industry, but it's always the small amount.
Yeah.
So, you know, you always focus, and they say, oh, there's too many IPA. I go into a bar, you know, into a craft beer place, and there's too many IPAs. Well, 1, for me, hooray. 2, remember, they're there because people are buying
Exactly. I was about to say what you
them,
just said a second ago. Yeah.
right? And 3, I'll bet you there's other choices on that menu as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm drinking a lager from a craft brewery place, right? And all of them have, including Stone. Do you have a favorite brewery right now? Not just in San Diego, but just in general? Do you operate that way? Do you pick like one place and then, or you just, I like this beer, I'm gonna drink it?
No, but here I'll give a nod to, you know, just down the street, we're in Solana Beach here, to Pizza Port.
Oh yeah, I love Pizza Port.
You know, so full disclosure, Pizza Port was the first place to ever tap a keg of Stone.
Oh, no way.
July 26, 1996. There's actually a plaque up on the wall at Pizza Port.
Were they a brewery at that point, or were they?
They
just
were a
pizza
brewery
place?
at that point, but they've always had guest beers, which, you know, respect to them for doing so.
Great.
And that influence, we always have guest beers at Stone.
Yeah.
And Pizza Port and some others that said, look, we're in a, let's have a bigger pond, right? Let's expand this together, and, you know, raising tide and all that. And I've always respected that. So yeah, they were there every place. I was just there a couple of nights ago.
Great pizza too. Love that place. My kids love that place because all the games and everything. Yeah.
There's nothing I don't love about that. I've been going to Pizza Port since the early 90s.
It's right next to the train too, which is one of the things I love about
Convenient.
it. Having come down from LA, yeah. I'll sing their praises all day. Okay, I'm mad at you because...
and great effing beer.
Yeah, they do. They have Swami's was my favorite beer for a long time.
I was drinking Swami's in 94, 95.
I didn't know it's been around that long.
Yeah.
Man.
So it was literally one of the very, very first West Coast style IPAs. Now it was a different recipe there. It was they used a little more, I think, C4, but you know, sort of reddish or darker malts.
Okay, again, I was nodding like I knew what you were talking about. C4, yes, of course. The explosive.
Yeah. Sorry. Wait, did I just make that mistake? Did I have?
Did you? I don't know. I wouldn't even know.
I think now I'm doubting it because again, I'm not the brewer. But you know, basically, it's a crystal malt. It's a lightly roasted malt that will give you more towards coppery color and flavor profiles that have some more of that. I used to be like this with all the terms, and I'm happily rusty.
I was going to say,
just drinking beer now.
And
I'm just
playing
drinking beer.
music.
But you know, so the roasty characters, And they used a portion of it in the recipe that gave it a sort of a light reddish color.
Yeah, it was a very unique beer, not just an IPA, but just like the taste of it, the color of it, everything you said. Your life pisses me off immensely because you founded a beer company.
You're not the first. A lot of people.
It's insane, dude.
A lot
You
of
play
people
music
just
and
look
then
at
you
me.
make beer.
As Colin Joe says about himself, I have a very punchable face.
Yeah, and being married to Scarlett Johansson doesn't help either.
Yeah.
I met her once, and it was, it could have been. What could have been? My wife won't watch this. It's fine. I'm kidding. Can we talk about Metal Warrior? Because it's super interesting, not just that you play metal music, which I think is fascinating, super cool anyway, but it's also like a series of comic books.
Yeah.
And like, what a crazy thing to do, to go from founding this massive beer company, co-founding, sorry, and then going on to like starting a band and playing metal music and making comic books that go along with it. How did this start? Was it just something you wanted to do?
It was frankly, it was a rather random idea. It was never something that I always wanted to do. From the graphic novel perspective, from the music perspective, it definitely was. So I just randomly came up with this idea. There's this artist, Ben Fellows, who does all of our graphic illustrations. Brilliant guy.
Yeah, he's great. I looked at some of the stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. He's got his own rather unique style and approach, and he's got a fertile imagination. And just the way that he's never done graphic novels before or comics. He was in graphic arts and did sort of like, logos and, other kind of jobs involving graphics, but never put together a comic, and he always wanted to. And I met him because he did, a number of years ago, we did a guest art series with Stone IPA cans. And he was one of the people that submitted. It was during the pandemic. He submitted, I loved his artwork, so I selected one of his. There was ultimately 6, 8 dozen. I always have to, the different ones that we did. He did one.
Okay.
But I remembered him, I contacted him, I said, hey, I just had this crazy idea. What do you think? And he was like, yeah, okay, that sounds really cool. I'd love to do it. And he started just doing it on the side.
Was the pitch literally what it was? Like, I have this band, and then there's going to have like this series.
Well, I didn't have the band yet.
Okay.
So it became about a band.
Okay.
The graphic novel series.
Yeah.
And then I've been friends with a fellow by the name of Kelley for a long time. He's a veteran journeyman guitar player, pro musician, who also has craft beer bars in Las Vegas called Aces and Ales. And we got to know each other through craft beer, not initially through music. I told him about this, and he's like, hey, yeah, dude, let's put together some tunes for that. And I was like, I'm friends with him for a long time, but I would have never dreamed to say, can we write songs together?
Man.
Because he's here and I'm, non-existent in the music scene, right? So the camera doesn't pan that far down.
Yeah, you're going to have to stand up or stand on your chair, but it's all right.
Yeah. Careful, if I start doing that, other things might happen.
Yeah, I'm the one drinking a beer. Do you play, are you rhythm in the guitar?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not doing like the sweet.
No, I
stuff.
didn't say yes to that. I was as in I'm going to answer I need to explain.
Gotcha.
So he does all the instrumentation.
Okay.
So what we have is not exactly a band per se. It's more a project.
Okay.
So we write all the songs together. He does all the instrumentation because he is wizardrous. Is that a word?
Sure.
Wizardrous.
It's in the metal dictionary. Yeah.
When he plays, it's wizardry. And
nice save.
Anyways, so I, cede all of that to him.
Okay.
Because literally I can kind of hum something out or kind of, clunk it out, or I can pick up the guitar and play it awkwardly. And he's like, you mean like this? And then I'm like, wow, that sounds really good.
That's exactly what I meant. Yes, exactly.
So we write all the songs together. And I perform the lower range vocals.
Yes, as the Cookie Monstering.
Yeah, I'm not, actually my style isn't very Cookie Monster. It's on the edge of Cookie Monster.
You're like Bert?
Because I don't think Ernie, I'm trying to remember their voices.
Yeah, Bert has the lower one, yeah. I got kids, trust me, that's accurate.
Let's just say I'm aware, but I'm not sure where it would fall. I think,
Gotcha.
maybe closer to Oscar.
Oh yeah, Oscar, the great voice.
Yeah. But where a lot of Cookie Monster stuff is really, you know, the you know, that kind of thing. My goal is to make the words be able to be understood.
Okay.
Because we are storytelling both through the graphic novels and with the songs.
Yeah, that's funny. Where can people find the graphic novels and the music and everything?
Metalwarrior.com.
Okay.
In your better graphic novel stores and your better music stores for the album. It's admittedly not, you know, super wide release, so it's not just everywhere, but certainly online and also then all the major streamers.
Are you going to be at Comic-Con?
So I did a little Comic-Con stuff a year and now 3 months ago. Frankly, Comic-Con is a place to just, it's for Marvel and Disney and these really big properties.
Yeah, I
these
wondered
days.
that
I mean,
for
I know
smaller
everybody
places.
else is there also.
But it's white noise, right? It's so much happening.
It's-
Yeah.
It's like, it is a way to just go and feel lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. That's sad because it really was a comic convention for such a long period of time.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember sitting out at Henry's Pub on 5th
Hey, nice.
in the gas lamp. Yeah, they recently closed and I missed
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh
missed
my
their-
gosh, that sucks.
Yeah, I missed their final things and I was super bummed because I spent so much time there. But we would hang out and we would play sort of like Comic-Con bingo, you know, and you of course you
I
have
know
a,
exactly what you
Princess Leia on there, and there would definitely be stormtroopers, but you'd have some more obscure ones on there. Because
Max Rebo.
the volume of cosplayers was so high. And, you know, last time I went, which is a year and 3 months ago, I mean, it was fractional,
Yeah.
the number of cosplayers.
No, now it's mostly people who look like me, who are like suits for whatever company
Or
they're at.
me.
Yeah.
Boring,
Yeah.
right?
Boring guys. You're not boring at all, dude. You started Stone and then you started a metal band.
Yeah. That's something that I've done, which thanks for not thinking that that's boring. But,
anyone thinks
that doesn't make me necessarily an interesting person. If
I
I'm
find
not-
you very interesting.
Well, you're very
I think most people, anyone who watches this would think that. Greg, you're a great
get
guy.
me in a cocktail party and then,
Yeah, well, next time we'll do a black tie. Awesome. Greg, thank you so much. It was awesome
Yeah.
hanging out with you, learning about this. Yeah, gonna check out Metal Warrior and drink some craft beers and throw out my Coors Banquet beers. This episode was brought to you by Coors Brewing.